Chapter 1: The Death of a Hero. The third bell has sounded. The purple velvet curtain is about to be raised. The lights are progressively dimming till only the red signs showing exit remain, glowing like embers in a darkened hall. Popcorn sellers and cold drink vendors begin to leave. Salim and I settle down in our seats. The first thing you must know about Salim is that he's my best friend. The second is that he's crazy about Hindi films. But not all Hindi films, just the ones featuring Arman Ali. They say at first there was Amitabh Bachchan, then there was Shah Rukh Khan, now there is Arman Ali. The ultimate action hero, the Indian Greek god, the heartthrob of millions. Salim loves Arman, or more accurately, he worships Arman. His tiny room in the chawl is a shrine. It is lined with posters of all kinds depicting the hero in various poses. Arman in a leather jacket, Arman on a motorbike, Arman with his shirt off baring his hairy chest, Arman with a gun, Arman on a horse, Arman in a pool surrounded by a bevy of beauties. We are occupying seats A21 and A22 in the very first row of the dress circle in Regal Talkies in Bandra. We shouldn't really be sitting here. The tickets in my front pocket do not say dress circle 150 rupees. They say front stalls 25 rupees. The usher was in a good mood today and did us a favor. He told us to go and enjoy the balcony because the stalls were practically deserted. Even the balcony is almost empty. Apart from Salim and me, there are no more than 24 people in the front rows ahead of us. When Salim and I go to the movies, we usually sit in the front stalls. It enables us to make cat calls and whistle. Salim believes the nearer you are to the screen, the closer you are to the action. He says he can lean forward and almost touch Arman. He can count the veins on Arman's biceps. He can see the whites of Arman's hazel green eyes, the fine stubble on Arman's cleft chin, the little black mole on Arman's chiseled nose. I am not particularly fond of Arman Ali. I think he acts the same way in every movie. But I too like to sit in the front rows, as close to the giant screen as possible. The heroine's breasts appear more voluptuous from there. The curtain is now lifted and the screen flickers to life. First, we have the advertisements. 4 sponsored by private companies and 1 by the government. We are told to come first at school and become a champion in cricket by eating cornflakes for breakfast. How to drive fast cars and win gorgeous girls by using spice cologne. That's the perfume used by Arman, exclaimed Salim. How to get a promotion and have shiny white clothes by using Roma soap. How to live life like a king by drinking red and white whiskey. And how to die of lung cancer by smoking cigarettes. After the adverts, there is a little pause while the reels are being changed. We cough and clear our throats. And then the censor certificate appears on the CinemaScope screen. It tells us that the film has been certified UA, has 17 reels, and a length of 4,639.15 meters. The certificate is signed by one Mrs. M. Kane, chairman of the censor board. She's the one who signs all the censor certificates. Salim has often asked me about this lady. He really envies her job. She gets to see Armand's pictures before anyone else. The opening credits begin to roll. Salim knows everyone in this film. He knows who is the wardrobe man, who is the hairstylist, who is the makeup man. He knows the names of the production manager, the finance controller, the sound recordist, and all the assistants. He doesn't speak English very well, but he can read names, even the ones in really small print. He has watched this film 8 times already, and every time he memorizes a new name. But if you were to see the concentration on his face right now, you would think he was watching the first day, first show with black market tickets. Within 2 minutes, Arman Ali makes his grand entrance by jumping down from a blue and white helicopter. Salim's eyes light up. I see the same innocent excitement on his face as when he first saw Arman a year ago in person. Salim comes running through the door and collapses face down on the bed. I'm alarmed. Salim! Salim! I shout. What's happened to you? How come you're back so early? I turn him on his back. He's laughing. The most amazing thing has happened today. This is the happiest day of my life, he declares. What is it? Have you won a lottery? No, something even better than winning a lottery. I've seen Arman Ali. Bit by breathless bit, the whole story comes out. How Salim caught a glimpse of Arman Ali while doing his daily round in Gat Kopar. The star was alighting from his Mercedes Benz to enter a five-star hotel. Salim was traveling on a bus to deliver his last tiffin box to a customer. The moment he spotted Arman, he jumped down from the speeding vehicle, narrowly missing being run down by a Maruti car, and ran towards the actor who was passing through the hotel's revolving door. He was stopped by the tall, strapping, uniformed guard at the entrance and prevented from entering the hotel. Arman! Salim called, trying desperately to catch the star's attention. Arman heard the cry, stopped in his tracks, and turned around. His eyes made contact with Salim's. He gave a faint smile, an imperceptible nod of acknowledgement, and continued walking into the lobby. Salim forgot all about the tiffin and came racing home to give me the news of his dream having come true. A customer of Gali Tiffin Carriers went hungry that afternoon. Does Armand look different from the way he appears on screen? I ask. No, he's even better in real life, says Salim. He's taller and more handsome. My ambition in life is to shake his hand at least once. I probably won't wash it for a month after that. I reflect on how good it is to have simple, uncomplicated ambitions, like shaking a film star's hand. Meanwhile, on screen, that hand is holding a gun and pointing it at a group of three policemen. Armand plays a gangster in this movie, a gangster with a heart. He loots the rich and distributes money to the poor. In between, he falls in love with the heroine, Priya Kapoor, an up-and-coming actress, and sings 6 songs and fulfills his beloved mother's wish by taking her on a pilgrimage to the shrine of Vaishno Devi. At least, that's the story till the interval. Priya Kapoor's entry in the film is greeted with catcalls from the stalls. She is a tall, good-looking actress who won the Miss World title a few years ago. Her body is sculpted like that of a classical beauty, with heavy breasts and a slim waist. She's my favorite actress these days. She pouts a lot in the film and keeps on saying, "Shut up" to the comedian. We laugh. Your ambition is to shake Armand's hand, I say to Salim. But what do you think is Armand's ambition in life? He seems to have it all. Face, fame, fortune. You're wrong, Salim replies solemnly. He does not have Urvashi. The papers are full of the Armand-Urvashi breakup after a whirlwind romance lasting 9 months. There is speculation that Armand is completely heartbroken, that he has stopped eating and drinking, that he might be suicidal. Urvashi Randawa has returned to her modeling career. I see Salim crying. His eyes are red and wet with tears. He's not eaten all day. The heart-shaped glass frame containing a picture of Armand and Urvashi, on which he had spent almost half of his meager salary, lies on the ground, shattered into 100 pieces. Look, Salim, you're being childish. There's nothing you can do about it, I tell him. If only I could meet Armand. I want to comfort him, to hold his hand and let him cry on my shoulder. They say crying makes the heart lighter. And what good will that do? Urvashi will not come back to Armand. Suddenly Salim looks up. Do you think I could speak to her? Maybe I could persuade her to come back to Armand. Tell her that it was all a mistake. Tell her how sad and contrite he is. I shake my head. I don't want Salim tramping all over Mumbai looking for Urvashi Randawa. It's not a good idea to poke your nose into other people's affairs or make other people's troubles your own, Salim. Armand Ali is a mature man. He'll deal with his troubles his own way. At least I'll send him a gift, says Salim. He goes and buys a large bottle of Fevicol glue and sets about sticking the shattered pieces of the heart-shaped frame back together again. It takes him a week, but finally the heart is whole, a grid of crisscrossing black streaks, the only reminder of the fault lines on which it broke. I will now send it to Armand, he says. It's a symbol that even a broken heart can be put together again. With Fevicol? I ask. No, with love and care. Salim wraps it up in cloth and sends it to Armand Ali's home address. I don't know whether it reached Armand or not, whether it was broken by the postal department, smashed by the security guards, or trashed by Armand's secretary. The important thing is that Salim believes it reached his hero and helped him to heal his wound. It made Armand whole again and enabled him to resume giving blockbusters such as this one, which I am seeing for the first time, and Salim for the 9th. A devotional song is playing on screen. Armand and his mother are climbing towards the shrine of Vaishno Devi. They say if you ask Mata Vaishnodevi sincerely for anything, she grants your wish. Tell me, what would you ask? I say to Salim. What would you ask? He counters. I guess I'd ask for money, I say. I would ask for Armand to be reunited with Urvashi, he says without even thinking for a second. The screen says interval in bold and red letters. Salim and I stand up and stretch our arms and legs. We buy 2 soggy samosas from the food vendor. The boy selling soft drinks looks at the empty seats mournfully. He will not make a good profit today. We decide to go to the toilet. It has nice white tiles, banks of urinals, and clean wash basins. We both have our designated stalls. Salim always goes to one on the extreme right, and I always take the sole urinal on the left side wall. I empty my bladder and read the graffiti on the wall. Fuck me, Tinu Pistier. Shinu's a whore. I love Priyanka. Priyanka? I rail against the graffiti artist who has defaced the last inscription. I spit into my hand and try to remove the extra letters, but they've been written with permanent black marker and refuse to budge. Eventually, I use my nails to scratch them off and succeed in restoring the graffiti to its original state, just as I had inscribed it 4 months ago. I love Priya. The second bell sounds, the interval is over, the film is about to resume. Salim has already briefed me on the remaining plot. Armand and Priya will now sing a song in Switzerland before Priya is murdered by a rival gang. Then Armand will kill hundreds of bad guys in revenge, expose corrupt politicians and police officers, and finally die a hero's death. We return to A21 and A22. The hall goes dark again. Suddenly, a tall man enters through the balcony door and takes the seat next to Salim, A20. He has 200 seats to choose from, but he selects A20. It's impossible to see his face, but I can make out that he's an old man with a long, flowing beard. He's wearing what appears to be a Pathan suit. I am curious about this man. Why is he joining the film halfway through? Did he pay half the price for his ticket? Salim is not bothered. He is craning forward in anticipation of the love scene between Armand and Priya, which is about to begin. Armand has come to Switzerland ostensibly to locate a contact, but actually to romance Priya and sing a song, in which he is joined by 20 white female dancers wearing traditional costumes that are rather skimpy for a cold, mountainous country. The song and dance over, he's now sitting in his hotel room where a crackling fire burns in the fireplace. Priya is taking a bath. We hear the sound of running water and Priya humming a tune, and then we see her in the bath. She applies soaps to her legs and back. She raises a leg covered in bubbles and uses a shower head to wash it clean. We hope we'll also see her use it on her ample chest and make all the bubbles disappear, but she disappoints us. Finally, she emerges from the bath with just a pink towel around her body. Her jet black hair hangs loose behind her shoulders, glistening with moisture. Her long legs are smooth and hairless. Armand takes her in his arms and smothers her face with kisses. His lips move down to the hollow of her neck. Soft, romantic music begins to play. Priya undoes the buttons of his shirt, and then Armand slips out of it languidly, exposing his manly chest. The glow of the fire envelops the 2 lovers in a golden tint. Priya makes soft moaning noises. She arches her back and allows Armand to caress her throat. His hand snakes to the back and tugs at her towel. The pink fabric loosens and falls at her feet. There is a tantalizing glimpse of thigh and back, but no shot of breasts. Salim believes this is where the censors inserted a cut, and why he envies Mrs. Kane. Armand has now locked Priya in his embrace. We are shown the swell of her breasts, her heavy breathing, the perspiration forming on her forehead. There are catcalls and whistles from the stalls. The old man sitting next to Salim shifts uncomfortably in his seat, crossing his legs. I'm not sure, but I think his hand is massaging his crotch. The oldie next to you's getting frisky, I whisper to Salim. But he is oblivious to the old man and to me. He is gaping at the intertwined bodies, thrusting in synchronized rhythm to the music in the background. The camera pans over Armand's heaving back and zooms in on the fireplace, where golden yellow flames are licking the logs with increasing abandon. Fade to black. There is a fire of similar proportions in our kitchen when I enter the chawl, but instead of logs, Salim is using paper. Bastards! Dogs! he mutters while tearing a thick sheaf of glossy paper into pieces. What are you doing, Salim? I ask in alarm. I am taking revenge on the bastards who have maligned Armand, he says as he tosses more sheets of paper onto the pyre. I notice that Salim is tearing pages from a magazine. Which magazine is this? It looks new. It's the latest issue of Starburst. I will destroy as many copies as I can lay my hands on. I can only buy 10 from the newsstand. I grab a copy that has not yet been mangled. It has Armand Ali on the cover with a screaming headline, "The Naked Truth About This Man." But it has your idol on the cover. Why are you destroying it? I cry. Because of what they say inside about Armand. But you can't read. I read enough and I can hear. I overheard Mrs. Barv and Mrs. Shirk discussing the scurrilous accusations made against Armand in the issue. Like what? That Urvashi left him because he could not satisfy her. That he is gay. So? You think they can abuse my hero in this fashion and get away with it? I know this report is a load of nonsense. Armand's rivals in the industry are jealous of his success. They have hatched this plan to destroy his reputation. I will not allow them to succeed. I will go to the Starburst office and set fire to it. Salim's anger is white hot, and I know why. He hates gays. To tarnish his idol with the brush of homosexuality is the ultimate insult in his book. I, too, know of perverts and what they do to unsuspecting boys. In dark halls, in public toilets, in municipal gardens, in juvenile homes. Luckily, Starburst retract their allegation in the next issue and save Adabawala from becoming an arsonist. Meanwhile, things are hotting up off-screen in seat 820. The old man slides closer to Salim. His leg casually brushes against Salim's. The first time, Salim thinks it's his own fault. The second time, he thinks it's an accident. The third time, he is convinced it is deliberate. Muhammad, he whispers to me, I'm going to give a tight kick to the bastard sitting next to me if he doesn't stop his wandering leg. Look how old he is, Salim. It's probably just tremors in his leg. I counsel him. The fight sequence has started, and Salim is busy watching the action. Armand has entered the villain's den, and all hell is breaking loose. The hero uses all manner of feints and tackles, boxing, karate, kung fu, to give his opponents a licking. The old man's hands are also getting into action. He presses his elbow against the common armrest and lets his arm slide next to Salim's, touching it ever so lightly. Salim hardly notices this. He is engrossed in the film, which is reaching its climax. The most famous scene of the movie is about to happen, the one in which Armand Ali dies after killing all the bad guys. His vest is soaked in blood, there are bullet wounds all over his body, his trousers are coated with dust and grime. He drags himself along the ground towards his mother, who has just arrived to the scene. Salim is in tears. He leans forward and says poignantly, Mother, I hope I have been a good son. Don't cry for me. Remember, dying an honorable death is better than living a coward's life. Armand's head is in his mother's lap. He is mimicking Salim. Mother, I hope I have been a good son. Don't cry for me. Remember, dying an honorable death is better than living a coward's life. The mother is crying too as she cradles his bleeding head in her lap. Tears fall from her eyes on Armand Ali's face. He grips her hand. His chest convulses. Tears fall into my lap. I see another mother who kisses her baby many times on his forehead before placing him in a clothes bin, rearranging the clothes around him. In the background, the wind howls, sirens sound. The police have arrived as usual, too late. After the hero has done all the work for them, they cannot do anything for him now. I see that the bearded man's left hand has moved on. It is now placed in Salim's lap and rests there gently. Salim is so engrossed in the death scene, he does not register it. The old man is emboldened. He rubs his palm against Salim's jeans. As Armand takes his last few breaths, the man increases his pressure on Salim's crotch till he's almost gripping it. Salim erupts. You bloody motherfucker! You filthy pervert! I'm gonna kill you! He screams and slaps the man's face, hard. The man hastily removes his hand from Salim's lap and tries to get up from his seat. But before he can lift himself completely, Salim makes a grab for him. He fails to catch the man's collar, but gets a hold of his beard. As Salim tugs, it comes off in his hand. The man leaps out of his seat with a strangled cry and dashes toward the exit, which is hardly 20 feet away. At that very instant, the electrical power in the theater fails and the generator kicks in. The screen goes blank and the dark hall is dazzled as the emergency lights flick on. The man is caught unawares, like a deer in a car's headlamp. He whirls around, unsure of himself. Just as suddenly, the power comes back on. It was only a momentary interruption. The film resumes on screen, the emergency lights are extinguished. The man rushes past the black curtains to the red exit sign, slams open the door, and disappears. But in that split second, Salim and I have seen a flash of hazel green eyes, a chiseled nose, a cleft chin. As the credits begin to roll over the screen, Salim is left holding in his hand a mass of tangled gray hair, smelling vaguely of cologne and spirit gum. This time he does not see the name of the publicity designer and the PRO, the light men and the spot boys, the fight director and the cameramen. He is weeping. Arman Ali, his hero, has died. Smita is staring at me with skeptical eyes. When exactly did this incident happen? About 6 years ago, when Salim and I lived in a chal in Gatkopar. And do you realize the significance of what you have just recounted to me? What? That if this incident was made public, it could destroy Arman Ali, end his film career. Of course, that will happen only if what you've just told me is true. So you still don't believe me? I didn't say that. I can see the doubt in your eyes. If you still don't believe me, you do so at your own peril. But you cannot disregard the evidence on this DVD. Should we see the first question? Smita nods her head and presses play on the remote. The studio lights have been dimmed. I can hardly see the audience sitting around me in a circle. The hall is illuminated by one spotlight in the center, where I sit in a leather revolving chair opposite Prem Kumar. We are separated by a semicircular table. There is a large screen in front of me on which the questions will be projected. The studio sign is lit up. It says silence. Cameras rolling. 3, 2, 1, you're on. The signature tune comes on and Prem Kumar's booming voice fills the hall. Here we are, once again, ready to find out who will make history today by winning the biggest prize ever offered on Earth. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to find out who will win $1 billion. The studio sign changes to applause. The audience begins clapping. There are some cheers and whistles, too. The signature tune fades out. Prem Kumar says, "We have 3 lucky contestants with us tonight. We have selected at random by our computer. Contestant number 3 is Kapil Chowdhury from Malda in West Bengal. Contestant number 2 is Professor Hari Parikh from Ahmedabad. But our first contestant tonight is 18-year-old Ram Muhammad Thomas from our very own Mumbai. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a round of applause." Everyone claps after the applause dies down. Prem Kumar then turns to me. Ram Muhammad Thomas, now that's a very interesting name. It expresses the richness and diversity of India. What do you do, Mr. Thomas? I'm a waiter in Jimmy's Bar and Restaurant in Colaba. A waiter? Now isn't that interesting? Tell me, how much do you make every month? Around 900 rupees. That all? And what will you do if you win today? I don't know. You don't know? No. Prem Kumar scowls at me. I'm not following the script. I'm supposed to vibe and be entertaining during the small talk. I should have said that I'll buy a restaurant, or a plane, or a country. I could have said that I'll host a big party, marry Miss India, travel to Timbuktu. Okay, let me explain the rules to you. You will be asked 12 questions, and if you answer each one correctly, you stand to win the biggest jackpot on Earth, 1 billion rupees. You are free to quit at any point until question number 9 and take whatever you've earned up to then, but you cannot quit beyond question number 9. After that, it's either play or pay. But let's talk about that when we come to that stage. If you don't know the answer to a question, don't panic, because you have 2 lifeboats available to you, a friendly tip and half and half. So I think we're all set for the first question for 1,000 rupees. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready, I reply. Okay, here comes question number 1. A nice easy one on popular cinema. I'm sure everyone in the audience can answer. Now, we all know that Arman Ali and Priya Kapoor have formed one of the most successful screen pairings of recent times. But can you name the blockbusting film in which Arman Ali starred with Priya Kapoor for the very first time? Was it A, Fire, B, Hero, C, Hunger, or D, Betrayal? The music in the background changes to a suspenseful tune, with the sound of a ticking time bomb superimposed over it. D, Betrayal, I reply. Do you go to the movies? Yes. And did you see Betrayal? Yes. Are you absolutely 100% sure of your answer? Yes. There is a crescendo of drums. The correct answer flashes on the screen. Absolutely 100% correct. You've just won 1,000 rupees. We will now take a quick commercial break, declares Prem Kumar. The studio sign changes to applause. The audience claps. Prem Kumar smiles. I don't.